have a warrant. They're asking for tips. More news in 1 hour on 1039 WYAB. I'm Chris Davis.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are the individual views and opinions of the people expressing them and do not necessarily reflect those of this radio station, its parent, affiliated, or related entities, agents, or employees.
Welcome to the Chip Matthews Show, where politics meets the South. So grab your sweet tea, find a comfortable spot to sit back, and let's embark on this journey together.
Where's my what?
Your teacher.
She's not going to be here. She was going to call in. And I hadn't talked to her, so she may not call in. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. We know what my absolute.
And good Tuesday morning. My last text from you was, I can see the building. Hold on there. We still got these mics reversed.
Oh, do we?
But that's okay. I got you now.
I said, good morning. I'm almost there. I can see the building.
Okay. And let's see if I can
Gracie needed a walk this morning.
tune you in a little bit better. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Here I am.
So,
How you doing this morning, Chip?
I'm doing all right.
How you feeling?
You know,
You feel better?
well, the arms and it feels like someone took a plunger and ran it through my body.
Yep. Been there,
So-
done that.
So I guess, yeah.
I can sympathize. They shoved a rod down my thigh. So
Yeah.
I can feel you.
You know,
I'm sure having something go through your veins was not fun.
it's just all of a sudden, the last few days, it's like, holy cow. And then,
Yeah.
and then the delayed bruising
Yeah.
has just been unique. But anyway,
Yep.
Everything's good in my world. Tomorrow at noon at the Episcopal Church in Canton,
Yes.
all the people that are running for mayor are going to be there to speak. I will be one of them.
Will you do?
They just want to make sure that everybody speaks before the Democratic primary on April Fool's Day.
Nice. Exactly. What is that April Fool's Day exactly? Where did that come from, you think?
Well, for Democrats.
For Democrats?
Yeah.
Well, no,
They
I meant April Fool's Day as a whole. Where do you?
Well, that's where it
what's
came
the background
from.
on that?
Years and years and years ago,
Okay.
when they were planning
Okay.
April Fool's Day,
Mhm.
they knew that one day the Democratic primary in Canton would be on April Fool's Day.
Yep.
Millions of years
Yep.
ago. And that's
Okay.
how it got there.
Well, see, I think I have a
You-
conspiracy theory to that,
That's
but I'm not going to get into it.
But that's where I'm at. I mean, because April Fool's Day, and I mean, you're going to have,
What-
it's
exactly, what do
gonna
they
be a
mean?
building full. Well, in Canton, it's going to be a building full of convicts, except for me.
Right?
Okay.
They had a mayoral debate last night in Jackson, and I
And-
listened in a little bit, but
Were any of them convicts?
not yet. Not yet, but one on the way. And let me tell you, Showquay's talking smooth.
Well,
People need to pay attention because he's got the whole, I did this. I mean, he was talking about what he did for the water department. And it's like, what do you
What
say?
he did for the water department was he probably got some USAID money and got some,
What,
bought a few bottles of water and handed them out in the
what
city.
he did is he ran it into the ground. He did not, as the mayor, know that you had to basically do oil changes on and do routine maintenance on the water, and he didn't.
He ran the whole city in the ground.
Well,
But then again,
Yeah.
Democrats have been doing that
I
to
plan to talk
Jackson
about
for
that.
years.
they have, and I plan to talk about that. I think we need to figure out how we got there to be able to get out of it, and that's where I'm kind of going.
Well, think about it this way: when people started moving out, they started blaming whites for leaving Jackson.
Right?
Okay, but at that time, you were still in the majority black,
Well, I mean,
right?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. The
Okay.
whites were the first to leave.
Right. Well, not necessarily. See,
Well,
I
okay.
see. A lot of people say white flight, but the reality is, it's
Jackson's had
it's economic flight,
it is, and Jackson's had
and it's the same
white
thing
and
that
black flight.
It's the
The
same thing
poor
that
have
happened to
exited
Canton.
Jackson as
It's
well.
the same thing happening to Ridgeland now.
Right?
You know, you economically move, and you're looking at Gluckstadt and you're looking at Madison. And you go, if I've got the means to move to a safer place, I'm moving. And I mean,
Yep.
people are leaving Ridgeland. I know now that people over on the Highland Colony Ridgeland, they feel fine.
Right.
But the people on on 51 Ridgeland and County Line roads, they
Right.
don't feel fine.
No.
And we have got to figure out what we need to do to help that leadership in Ridgeland. I mean, you need to break up the team, because the team doesn't. The County Line Road's been there for, I guess, since the 80s.
When I was in high school, it was the rich area to be. My rich aunt lived in North Point, so right there. But they've always
North
said
Point was
around
the Hinds
malls.
County side,
right. It was the Jackson side.
but the Ridgeland side had a mall,
It
and
did.
then it had apartment complexes
then
and a
it-
more park
and a movie theater. And don't they say that if you get a movie theater, usually within 20 years, that whole community is going to be sunk?
I never heard
Didn't
that.
I remember when they built North Park, they were saying, well, Metro has gone down after it got its movie theater. And then it was some sort of research. Maybe it was marketing
Well,
research.
if you go back
remember
and
that
look in
from.
time, and let's go back and think about that, because
Mhm.
downtown where Clay and I had the 105,
Right.
across the street from it used to be a movie theater.
Right.
And then there was a movie theater. There was 3 or 4 movie theaters in downtown Jackson.
Right.
The Lamar was downtown on Lamar
Right.
Street.
Well, and the Capri.
Yeah.
Well, they have that in
the
Fondren.
Capri's and Fondren. But I mean,
Well, I'm talking about the big, like, multiplexes.
these were big.
Were they?
These were big.
I remember the one on Meadowbrook.
No, Meadowbrook and all that was later on in life.
Okay.
And of course, that area went down. So you may
Right.
have something
Yeah.
here.
Yep.
Wherever people congregate to have fun and relax,
Malls and movie theaters.
malls and movie theaters, and it kills the whole area.
Yeah. But then you have other things, we've got Pearl. How long has that movie theater been out there? They
Well-
tend to just move around.
I know, but they lost their baseball team.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. I don't know.
But
We'll see.
a lot of that was paid for by, and I was thinking about this the other day, a lot of that area was paid by semi-government funding with private individuals, where we gave loans that we got paid back for.
Right. On
you
the
know.
baseball. Okay.
For the baseball and for the mall there.
Oh, the
Yeah.
outlets.
And I look back at that and I go,
Yeah.
what would that have done for Gluckstadt and Madison if you could have put that up on the interstate on reviving? You've got an area there that
Those outlet malls were meant to be like people to drive in and go to, but the prices aren't that great.
I know the prices aren't that great, but the reality is
It's
this:
supposed to be destined.
the reality is we have it got rooftops to Pearl. Okay,
Right, right.
It got rooftops in the area. Rooftops are where people live, and
Right.
then the type of people you attract to work there, to work in those areas.
Right.
In Canton or Madison County, Canton, because they don't consider Amazon and all that in Canton. They try to always say it's in Madison County, and it's right there at the exit. But anyway, you've got the Coke plant, and that's the Coca-Cola plant, not Coke plant.
Right.
You have to drive further into the city to get to that.
Please.
And then
Outside criminals.
Okay. Well, I mean, not going to say, but anyway. Okay. The Coke plant. Then you have the Amazon Web Services plant that's being built. You have Amazon that's already there.
Right. It's
And
huge.
then we've got the people that grow pot,
right.
all that out there. But we put a lot of people out there, and then you have Nissan. You have
Wait, we're growing pot out there?
Well, we grow pot in Madison County. Man, that's one of the big things.
Really?
And there's a legislative bill that I was looking at that, speaking of them doing nothing downtown, in order to help the pot
Lay into
business,
him, Chip.
in order to help the pot business,
Yeah.
there's a bill going through to where they can develop a drink with
marijuana in it.
with marijuana in it. Marijuana.
Well,
What is-
I think marijuana is healthier than alcohol.
Well, but my thing is this. So
Although I don't know that we
so
need
now
to be.
you're going to pull up to a car which already is with its windows up,
Yeah.
is reeking pot into your
Oh,
car and your
yeah.
secondhand smoke.
Yeah.
And then you're going to pull the window down and they'll be drinking on a marijuana. Is that what they call it?
You don't need to
Marijuana wiser.
be. Yeah. You don't need to be
Marijuana-wiser.
drinking and doing anything that inhabits
Well,
your.
I'm just saying, we've got to get ahead and get laws in place on how to handle the marijuana. With
Yes.
the marijuana thing,
I agree with
somebody
that.
brought up a bill to legalize it all, and I kind of agree with legalize it all or get rid of it all, one or the other, because you've got to give the law enforcement a way
a way to stand on
something
it.
to stand on. You don't need a guy to go, well, I got a card for this.
Yeah.
Well, the card
You still
that,
should be.
and then you have to explain to a guy that's high, and excuse me, you may have a card for this, but you're not supposed to be driving an automobile.
Right. It's
while
just like
high.
an open beer can.
Well, I got a card for this.
Yeah. Well, and we need to keep it away from kids because marijuana does a lot of damage to the developing brain when they're under the age of 21.
And then Clay has brought up kratom many times. Now
Yeah.
Clay supports.
I don't know what that is.
Well, kratom is something that you sell over the thing
it's
that
like an opioid.
it's not an opioid.
Yeah.
Kratom is actually something that is no different than let's say a 5-hour energy.
Okay. But
Okay.
it's killing people.
Well, according to some people, it kills people.
Okay.
There's not enough study on it. Some cities have outlawed it, this, that, and the other.
Right.
It is sold,
Okay.
It's sold over the counter. You can go buy some today
Right.
at most of the Indian stores.
Okay.
But kratom is not illegal.
right.
And for them to spend as much time as they have on kratom
On it.
is insane to me. Do the research, know what's going on, and go from there. Oh, somebody just sent me a picture, I think, of the pot drink.
Of the pot drink. The marrow. Are you going to be like the grandparent that called it
is.
the
Here's one
marijuana
called-
or whatever?
Here's one called Noble Seltzer, THC seltzer with lime,
Well, you
sparkling
can
water.
cook with it. You can do all kinds of things with.
But here it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said,
Well-
nobody's died from
Well-
marijuana poisoning the way they have alcohol.
Go ahead, call in.
So-
this guy, call in.
I wonder what it tastes like.
What's the number?
The number is 601-879-0002.
So we're going to take a break.
Okay.
You call in, and it's the person that sent me the pot drink.
And
we're going to sit and talk. Of course, it must be he's having one this morning. So we'll find out how much of a refreshing beverage it is.
We will find out.
Okay. And we'll be back right here on the Chip Matthews Show on WYAB.
Venable Glass is your local glass expert, offering residential, automotive, and commercial glass. Venable Glass can do it all. What sets Venable Glass apart from the rest? Unmatched reliability and customer service. Don't forget, tell your insurance company that you want to use
Huh?
Venable Glass. Remember,
I called her this morning, yesterday.
let Venable Glass work hard to earn your
Is that you,
business.
Robin?
Call Venable's Ridgeland or Brandon
Okay, well, hold on. I'm
locations
going to put you on
today
hold, and
for a
I'll come
free
to you right
estimate
after the
or
commercials.
visit venableglass.com.
Okay, bye.
If you want the best health care, where do you go? The Mayo Clinic. If you want the best care for your vehicle, where do you go? Mayo
I
Auto
called her
Clinic in
yesterday and said,
Raymond.
"You got it sold?"
Mayo Auto
Not
Clinic
yet.
does
What do you want to
foreign
do?
and domestic
Hold
vehicles
on.
and diesel repair. Mayo Auto Clinic has
Well,
ASE
I wanna
certified
call
techs
the
with over
ASE
25
attorney.
years of experience. You can extend the life of your
So-
car or truck when you take it to Mayo Auto Clinic. For cost-effective repairs and maintenance, go to the best.
Is
Mayo
there- is
Auto
there a-
Clinic. Open weekdays at 7 a.m. Highway 18 in
assisted
Raymond.
living or nursing home up in
Pure Air
Canton?
Consultants
Yes.
has always been
Several.
your go-to
Several.
for reliable
Okay.
and affordable heating and
One of them
When I
is
came up in my research, so I
offering
didn't.
day and night
Yeah.
programs.
Such in Jackson, that's
Year.
right.
you go out Canton 49. I mean, go out Canton toward like you're going to on 16, like you're going to
Pure Air Consultants
East?
professionals can
Yeah,
install a
east, and it'll be on the
reliable
left.
system with a 10-year system warranty.
After
Call us
you get
today
through
for
all
your free
the-
Just past
quote.
Mosby's Drug, you'll see it, and it'll be on the left.
7420
Is that
or
a- that's a
online
part of
at
the
My
pharmacy,
Pure
so I
Air
need to call
Consultants.
them.
Bill Mosby.
When you
Well,
want your
come,
pine trees to grow a little
Do you
happier
want me to
and a
come up
lot
to your thing
healthier,
tomorrow?
call on
Sure.
Holcomb Aerial Service.
When
When your crops
Sure.
need
And
dusting,
Lloyd can come up
make
and maybe meet
Holcomb
us for lunch
Aerial
there. I'll
Service.
come up and meet
From the
her.
farm to your own pine
And then I can
forest,
make some
Holcomb
help.
Aerial Service will stimulate
Fine.
growth, eradicate pests, and preserve the value of your crops. Call Holcomb Aerial Service at 601-668-6200. That's 601-668-6200.
Whoa! With this online-only deal from Buffalo Wild Wings Go, you get 20 boneless wings and fries for $16.99. That's enough to feed you and like 2 friends. Or one if you're selfish. And I am selfish. Buffalo Wild
Thanks.
Wings, 2 entrees.
Do you see
2
this?
sides, and 2 drinks for
Somebody
$19.99.
text it to me, and
Now
we
that
can
could
figure
make
to talk
me
about
glad
it.
I brought
That
a
is
date.
what they're trying to pass in the legislature to be able to make drinks with THC in it.
Jackson is ready for
Okay.
Thank you. I didn't even look up there at that.
Paid for by Horde for Mayor.
Have you ever said to yourself, go back to school to get my master's one day? Seize your someday today at MC. Hey, this is Ben Ingram, the voice of the Atlanta Braves, and this advertisement is easy for me to read because I get to
In
talk
the
about
Democratic
my alma
primary?
mater,
Yes, you are.
Mississippi College.
Exactly.
MC
You
offers
have to have
graduate and
51%,
professional
50
studies
plus a vote.
programs
This is
that
not
are
going to
designed
happen.
enhance your
That's why I
career
told you you're going to have
and your
4
future
elections.
I know.
on your
That's what
turn.
I'm saying.
Head to
So I'm not really
mc.edu.
worried
That's
and really happy
mc.edu today. Let's rise higher together.
We're gonna go to a second one.
We would like to invite you to visit our retirement community, which is not only beautiful, but affordable as well. I'm Rhonda Brown, sales
We'll
director
talk
at
to
the
him when we
Waterford
talk
on
about
Highland
Chitwood.
Colony in Richland. Our enhanced dining services include 3 delicious daily meals served in our beautiful open dining room. In addition, we're pet friendly and we're so excited about
I
our
don't know,
brand
we'll
new
talk
dog
about it.
park. Call us at the Waterford
Talk about it on
on
the air.
Highland Colony in Richland, 601-856-6131.
And we're back on a Tuesday here on the Chip Matthews Show on WYAB. Let's go to the phone. We've got somebody on the phone who had text me a picture of pot with THC in it. Good morning.
Drink
th-
with THC in it.
Well, whatever. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. I didn't say your name or anything unless you want to say it. That's up to you. But let's just
No,
talk.
it's fine. I'll stay anonymous.
Okay.
But with that being said, so forever I was against pot. Said it was a gateway drug. Never was a pot smoker through high school, college, majority of my adult life. And if you have any listeners that know me and my story, this will be a giveaway. Until my oldest son got sick with Lyme disease, and I ended up having to take him to Arizona to a treatment center for 3 months. Now, he went from being extremely athletic to being bedridden overnight, couldn't walk. I'd have to pick him up and carry him to places. And I'll send you the video of it, some of his story, so you can see it, Chip.
Yeah.
But was totally against it. We got out to Arizona, and Arizona, they had, medical marijuana at that time. And we went to a treatment center. The husband treated all cancer patients. The wife treated all Lyme disease patients. And at this point, he had been sick for 6 months, was bedridden for 2 months. Could not walk. And we had tears in his eyes.
Right.
And like I said, I'll send you this video. And, man, anybody that's ever seen this video, from being a grown man to it does not matter. You sit there and watch that video and you have tears in your eyes whenever you're done watching it.
Okay.
So anyway, while we were at treatment center, I was asking the doctors because he couldn't sleep, had insomnia, had a headache from February the 1st, 2017 until June the 6th, whenever his headache broke, whenever he was getting acupuncture. And whenever I say he had a headache, on a good day, I'd ask him his pain level of his headache. And a good day, it was an 8. Just stayed on the couch with his head buried in the pillow because his head hurt so bad.
Wow.
So anyway, while at the treatment center, we start going down the rabbit hole of different treatments and things you're willing to do and not do for your kid that's sick. And here we are 7 years later, and I still get emotional thinking about it.
Okay.
So I asked the doctors, I was like, hey, he's not sleeping, pain. I know marijuana's legal out here. What do y'all think? And they were like, if it was my kid, I'd let him do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. So I went down to research the rabbit hole of, medical marijuana. There's a documentary out there. It was put out by a guy named Ty Bollinger. It's called The Sacred Plant.
Right.
Right.
It's about marijuana. So, I encourage anybody to watch it because it gives you a lot of information that's, misinformation that's out there. But with that being said, the the name marijuana came from the two most popular Hispanic male and female names, Mary and Juan.
Okay.
And way back, back in the, I may be off on my time frame because I haven't watched the documentary in 7 years.
Right.
But back then, the DEA, so marijuana was legal back then,
Right.
or as they called it back then, cannabis.
Right.
Medical doctors used it for all kinds of things. So they did not want the medical industry. The FBI was trying to make it illegal because you had the FBI and pharmaceuticals that were tied in together back then.
Right.
And still are.
Kind of still are. So they wanted cannabis to be illegal, so they changed the name of it to where it would, scare the American people of, oh, you got this illegal drug coming from Mexico, and they changed the name of it, started calling it marijuana instead of cannabis. It's documented that back then that the medical doctors said, hey, if we'd have realized that cannabis and marijuana was the same thing, we would have fought the FBI and everybody, federal government, on this because they used it as a form of medicine back in the 60s, 50s
Right.
and 60s. But they, whenever they went to legislation with it, it was like, oh, we need to make this a class 1 narcotic and make it illegal. They changed it. They started calling it marijuana. Therefore, they would not realize that they were making cannabis illegal.
Right.
And then you got,
It's a wild rabbit hole to go down. It really is.
well, you look at the legislature currently, and our legislature is trying to pass for you to be able to make this drink, which that's one thing. But they're also going back and they're reducing the felony crimes, even if you're caught with crack or anything like that, to misdemeanors. Why don't they just go ahead and make marijuana legal and set up laws on how you would enforce it? Because policemen, when they pull you over and you got all this in you, let's say you're sucking on a drink and smoking a
I wonder
some
how many.
dope, you
I
can
wonder
do
how
whatever
many
you
kids
want.
in Jackson have got a felony on their record because they got caught with a roach in their car 3 different times.
Yeah,
Because I have a good feeling there's
But,
a lot of them running around like that.
but they,
It's a rabbit hole. It
Well, I mean,
really is.
Well, tell us about what it did for your.
Pulled that up, and I was laughing because I was like, I'll probably have one in my refrigerator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tell us about what it did for your son though, as far as how it healed him.
Like I said, my son went from being just completely bedridden, and we had to go to. I mean, what all we did for him, medical wise, is nothing you see here.
right.
I mean, we did ozone through UVBI, ultraviolet blood eradicator. And
Right.
ozone is, so your blood's made up of two cells, 2 molecules. Whenever you draw your blood out, they just draw it out, put it into what I jokingly call a Chardonnay bottle, but it's usually the size, the shape of a wine bottle. It can be a bag. They'll draw out, depending on what treatment you're getting, anywhere from 200 to 500 milliliters of your blood, then inject it with the straight ozone,
Right.
which will then, whenever it goes back into your blood, they put it, some people, depending on doctors, will put it through a UVBI machine, which will have different colors.
Right.
Each color, either eradicates pain, parasites, inflammation.
Hmm. But how did
And
how
then-
did how did the marijuana help your son's?
So it helped him. So
I mean,
your
did
body
he,
has to sleep to recover.
right.
Anytime you're sick, and because he couldn't sleep, it helped him relax and helped him sleep.
I see. Okay.
Other things that they give prescription pills and stuff
Right.
wasn't helping him sleep, wasn't
Right.
doing anything. But I mean, it was the only thing that just kind of helped him relax. At night
Relax. Yeah. Well,
and would help him sleep. And I mean, it's just
you try what you
it is
what works.
it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. You do what works.
I'm
when,
gonna.
when you watch your kid, and you've met him, Chip.
Yes.
And when you watch your kid that, like I said, went from being a
An
great
athlete.
athlete
Right.
to not being able to walk.
That's got to
Not
be
walk-
devastating.
Not walk from the couch to the kitchen and come sit down and eat, at the island. I mean,
Yep.
you're having to sit him up on the bed and feed him, or, pick him up and carry him, to the kitchen, or, put his arm around you and, kind of drag him to the kitchen. I mean, once I found treatment for him, look, it took forever for me to even find treatment for him. And we spent over, it's not Lyme disease, not covered by medical insurance.
Right,
We spent over
of course.
$100,000 out of pocket
Right.
having to get him treated. Like I said, we went to Arizona for 3 months. After that, I took him to a doctor in Knoxville. And she was there for a week, completely 2 different types of treatment, but he still had some lingering things. And I found this doctor, and we went there and spent a week in Knoxville.
Mhm.
But it opened my eyes to the cannabis industry and marijuana and what I thought about it. Is it abused? Yeah, absolutely. Just like anything else, is alcohol abused.
Right.
But is there a medical reason behind it? There's absolutely no doubt in my mind.
Well, that's the way it is with the ivermectins and the stuff like
Yep.
that are out there. They don't want you to take them because they can't make money off of them.
Right.
We're gonna
they've got to control the narrative
Yep.
of it. I mean,
We're gonna
look
learn-
how much money's made off our prisons.
Look,
I mean,
I'm going to get you to come in one day, or we'll talk again on the radio, and I'm going to get prepared a little bit more on this subject. But I'm going to get you in, and we're going.
I wasn't prepared. I was sitting there drinking my coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I looked like you were drinking marijuana.
I just happened to be scrolling through Facebook, and that popped up, and
Okay.
I was like, I've got to call her. Because I'll never call her on the radio. So
Okay.
Oh, cool.
I was like, I've got to call her because it's something that most people don't think. It kind of catches them off guard whenever I stand up for it, and I'm like, no, there's a place for this.
And see, and I'm only talking about my
on
thing.
it being open, just recreational. I mean,
I think if you made it recreational, then I don't smoke pot. Okay. But and nor do the gummies or anything else. But the reality is, I think that you need to figure out what you're going to do. You can't put your little toe in the water.
Right.
You jump all the way in. That way you tell the cannabis people here that we've put in business in Mississippi, we need to tell them they can do whatever they need to do.
Right.
And then you just need to have law enforcement in place to where the policemen know what to do when they pull over people.
Right.
That's it.
We need some laws to it to keep people from, because I've smelt it. It has almost stunk up my car.
I mean,
out in traffic with somebody in front of me. And
you ought to be in the restaurant. Two people can walk in the restaurant and blow the whole place away.
Yep. So there needs to be some laws around driving and that kind of thing.
But that's
it can be pretty potent. There's no doubt about it.
Hey, I'm glad
to a gas station and you're like, oh my gosh.
I'm glad you listen to an intelligent show like this. Okay, we're gonna take a commercial break and be right back. Thanks for calling.
Thanks for calling. It was interesting.
All right.
And welcome back on a Tuesday on the Chip Matthews Show here on WYAB. Do you want to continue the off-the-air conversation on the air?
No,
Okay, just making sure.
I don't want to continue it at all.
I'm glad we found that out.
Yeah.
He's sent me a thing. Its website is Dylan's Story,
Mhm.
youtube.be. Okay.
I did do something wrong when I was in my, I'd say mid 20s. I wrote a term paper for my boss. I was working in a bar and he was going to, we were about the same age and he was going to college at the same time. And he had me write a paper for him. He's like, "You're going to write this paper for me. I'll pay you."
Oh.
But he picked out the topic and the topic was the legalization of marijuana or something like that. And I did the research back. And actually, the hemp was in heavy competition with cotton. The first pair of Levi's were made out of hemp.
Well, tents were
And
made
so
out of
the-
hemp.
Yeah, the cotton farmers had a lot to do with making marijuana as far as
I know of a farmer.
smoking it
I know of
bad
a farmer a
so it
few-
wouldn't compete with cotton.
I know a farmer a few years ago who planted hemp
Yep,
in his field
yep,
for his deer field.
Yep.
You know,
yep. It's a very, very
and
good plant.
and the
What's the word for that?
Mississippi, I think it was and that was here in Mississippi, and whoever controls that, the DEA or whatever,
Right.
they noticed it with one of their flyovers and went in and cut it all down.
Oh gosh.
And I think somebody had to pay somebody $1 million because they had $1 million in it.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
You know, so.
It's a very good plant. Paper. I think the Constitution is written on hemp paper, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. But anyway,
So
let's get
we do
into.
need to be careful with kids. It is bad for developing.
Well, I'm
brains.
just saying. I'm
And if we
saying that
legalize it, then we can take care of
if
those
we
issues.
legalize pot and we put and we make it, give it some laws.
Yeah,
now, of
educate
course,
children.
once again, our lawmakers in Mississippi don't wish to make any laws that make any sense. You don't want to tackle the big subjects, and you don't want to give us the ballot initiative where we can tackle it for you. Y'all are a bunch of lazies that are you're not Republican, you're Democrat. You're Democrats.
Get them, Chip.
That's why we have these problems. They won't, for instance, they're scared that taxes, y'all, we're getting toward the end of the session now. Whatever they come up with on taxes, we ain't going to like it.
Nope.
They're not going to pass it.
Nope.
And,
Cut 'em
it's-
off.
and so that's that. So you've wasted all that time. You're not going to give us the ballot initiative. I saw where Clay was talking about the ballot initiative online,
Mm-hmm.
and he was talking about, that they're not going to give it back to us. I forgot what subject matter he was looking at what they want to take. But the big thing is a boy and a girl and all of these things that you have passed. You could have put all that in one big, beautiful bill to the people, and we could have passed it all at once. But the last thing that passed was the pot bill,
Right.
and they had to go figure out a way to make that illegal. But then the last thing before that passed was the flag.
It was the flag. I was about to say.
And they passed the flag, and then
overruled that.
and then they decided, well, that doesn't help us. Well, we're going to legislate.
Their votes don't matter
The
then.
people are nuts. We're not going to let the people. I mean, and we are nuts because we keep putting you back in that chair in the state, and that's because the parties don't really push
Mm-mm.
putting more candidates on the ballot against ones. We got an R in that place, whether that R is a rhino or a
Right.
Republican. Once they get one in that chair, all they want to do is get him reelected. That's it. And the same in state government, city government, county government. You get an R in the chair. You don't care if they're any good. You just want to keep them in the chair. And it's
Mm-mm, we can't do
pathetic.
that.
We got to do better.
Do your job or we'll send you home.
More people need to run for office. Now, of course, we're fixing to hit this, and we don't have a long time to talk about this.
Yep.
But we're going to talk about it. Jackson
Got a lot of people stepping up.
had you got all kind of people running for office.
Yep.
And I bet every one of them have a 503c company that they own that's getting funded by USAID.
No.
Well,
No, not all of them. I mean, I'm not saying there aren't some, but I'd say that there's not of them. I have higher hopes than that.
How many
for
are
some.
part-time preachers? Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I know there's Well, I can think of two,
Okay,
three right now that are not.
Okay, so right
Four
now,
that are not.
out of the Democratic primary coming up,
Democratic primary.
We're gonna
that
get-
changes things a little bit.
we're going to get down to 2 people,
Right.
and some because nobody's going to take 50% plus 1
No.
because everybody's mama is not going to vote. And I mean,
And then it'll be just top 2, right?
it'll be the top 2,
Okay.
and then that'll go down to 1
Right.
before the general. And in the general, you'll have
I think we have 3 independent mayor
so you'll have 3 independents and a Republican and a
and
Democrat.
a Democrat.
So
Right.
you'll have 5,
Right.
and then you'll have 2 again,
right.
and then 1.
Yep.
So you're going to have 4 elections any way you look at
Yep.
it,
Y'all get ready. Go ahead and
Unless
get comfortable
somebody-
in your precinct.
unless somebody in the primary says they got cheated. Then
Right.
you're going to have a trial and a delay and a special session, and this. I mean,
Well, if we have a ballot box in Chokwe's office, we may.
so coming out of the
You're
Democratic
talking to a
primary,
candidate who
so-
could do that.
So you were there last night.
I may do it anyway.
So
Just
out of the
'cause, for good measure.
Democratic primary,
Yeah.
how many people are going to come out of it? There's going to be 2. What 2 do you think it'll be? John Horn is backed by the Jeff Good group. Right.
He is, but he's all, I mean, people don't trust politicians in Jackson. And I mean, everything that they all say is about regaining the trust of the people.
And then you're going to put
But
some,
they're not talking, none of them, well, I can't say none of them, but I'm not hearing anything about what they're going to do to rebuild the trust. They're just telling us that they know that we can't trust them. Well, how are you going to rebuild my trust?
well, I
And
mean,
you need to start, you ought to already have a plan for how you're going to do that.
well, see, that's my deal.
But they're
see,
not.
See, tomorrow in Canton at the Episcopal Church,
Yep.
I will be coming in and asking the people, what do you want?
Right.
Because they need to be thinking about the people they put in the chair as aldermen, as councilmen and aldermen, more than who's going to be the mayor. Y'all, the mayor is a figurehead mostly.
Right.
The budget is and all that is decided by the people, the council, and then he is supposed to implement that. And he's not supposed to, like the current mayor has overstepped his bounds 10,000 times because
Right.
he's going to show
Because-
I'm the king of
Well,
Jackson.
he's supposed to be he's supposed to manage all the people, and all of his people can't do their job effectively.
Hold on. Okay.
People, I mean,
They don't understand that his job is to run all those people that are supposed to be running the water department,
right,
supposed to be running garbage.
right,
And, although you contract it out,
right.
you have to manage the people that are running the
Right,
contract. You're
right.
supposed to be the liaison between the council. It's supposed to be the council comes up, those 8 become
Uh-huh.
one voice.
That's why I really don't want a politician in the seat of mayor, because I want more of a business owner.
That's
So,
what
I
you
mean,
want. You need a businessman.
Chokwe and John, I don't know much about John Horn. I know a lot about Chokwe. I'm not happy with what he's done to my city. I don't know a lot about John Horn. He's not on my
Right.
ballot, but I don't want a politician in Jackson. I want someone like Kim Wade that has a business attitude towards running the city.
I don't understand why, if you were
David Archie has run the city.
is John Horn just moving up because
Socrates, I
the
think, could do it.
Socrates?
I
Socrates
would
Garrett?
rather him. I mean, he has dealt with contracts with cities before, has he
Yes.
not?
Yes,
Did
he
he mess
stole
them
it.
up?
He's gotten every contract he ever wanted. Minority
Well, okay,
contract.
I'll back
I
out of
mean,
that one then.
I
Good
mean,
to know. Good to know. It's all
I
about
mean,
putting information out there. I mean, but I want someone like Kim Wade that is thinking of it as a business on
Kim
how
Wade-
to run.
Kim Wade by law is
Right.
because of his background in business.
Exactly.
His background in business going back far enough is like mine, and
Right.
and like Clay's, to where you had to go in and you had to talk to everybody
Right.
to get your license. They
Right.
treated you like to get your business license in Jackson and the businesses we were in. You had to bring everything, and they're going to check everything, and they're going to come up with everything. Now, some of these businesses that go in, they pay off people.
Right.
I won't pay you a penny. When they
It
told me
needs to be done efficiently.
when they told me I needed to get my architect people, and he was looking at my front doors, the first thing I said, I got to call a guy that specializes in arches. And he said, that's not funny. I'm
Yeah.
going, okay. they wanted a new architectural
Architect,
drawing, and
right,
they wanted to delay what we were doing,
right.
and this, that, and the other. But I mean, I was naive, I was new, and when you said architect, I was like, arch? We need arches?
Architect.
I know.
It's kind of
So,
like a
so,
Southern accent.
architect is that didn't Southern accent.
Well, I know, but
But
some
anyway,
people mispronounce some things.
anyway, we got our architect to take
Yeah.
care of everything for us.
Well, and it costed extra, and it probably wasn't
It
needed in the
cost-
first place.
well,
that's the problem.
You didn't need it, but he redrew the building and everything, and it
Mhm.
got stamped, and we never
Mhm.
had to pay off anybody for anything, but we had to go back and
Right,
do a mechanical drawing of the
right.
building
You had to spend money on other things.
that was inside an already approved shopping center. That's
Exactly.
that we did no changes to.
Exactly.
It makes no sense at all.
Exactly.
But that's just where
They're going to
that's
force
the-
you to spend money. You can either
that's-
pay us off or you can spend money in the real world, but you're going to spend
Hey,
it
look,
one way or another.
in Birmingham, the mayor went to jail there along with a few other people. They had me come in, and a fireman was inspecting my building.
Right.
And he says, I see where you painted the walls red. I said, yes, sir. He goes, you got it on all of the heads on the water sprinkler system. And I was looking at him going, no, those are mercury vapor switches. They have red mercury in
Yeah.
each one.
Yeah.
And I said, you can come up here with a ladder and look. He goes, I can't climb a ladder. I said,
Yeah.
excuse me, you're a fireman. I'm not climbing. I can't climb a ladder.
Yeah. It means they're manipulatable to me. If,
And then
if
I
they
had
don't
to-
have quite
And then
the
I had to
sense they
change
should.
out 1,100 of them
1,100 because he.
sprinkler heads. And I changed, rather than pay him the payoff, I changed out all 1,100.
Yeah, but
Hey, they went to jail.
yeah, they did.
Okay.
But
Got to take a break. We'll be right back on the Chip Matthews Show here on WYAB, the Chip Matthews Show with Taylor Turcott.
this song.
Oh,
that is the most irritating song. Oh, it's horrible. Every woman wants a man to sing to her in a woman's voice because he sounds like a girl. That high pitch that he sings with, it sounds
So
like
what do
a
you want me
lady.
to sing? Wild thing.
No, I meant him, not you.
Wild thing.
Nope.
You make my thing swing.
Stop it, Chip.
Okay. Yeah. Everything groovy.
No.
Come on, come on, come on.
That,
wild
that makes me think of
thing.
Charlie Sheen in that movie.
Oh. Okay.
So, what we got? 5 minutes,
Winning!
let's go.
I'm winning.
You're
Okay.
winning.
Okay, but anyway, tomorrow is the thing at the church in Canton, at the
Mhm.
Episcopal Church. If you
You're
haven't
in
been to the
Canton.
Episcopal Church in Canton, it's a great location there. It's a historic building. It's a great building. Come look. And inside that will be a bunch of politicians who hopefully will not lie while they're in the building. Because
Is it just the mayors, or is it the mayor and the alderman?
my understanding is just the mayors.
Just the mayors right now.
Okay.
Okay.
And it's probably some alderman races too, because,
Mhm.
it's going to be decided in the Democratic primary.
Right.
I mean, there are no Republican aldermen running in
Oh.
Canton.
Okay.
None.
Like,
None.
kind of like,
Kind of like, well, in Jackson, at least y'all got 2 wards. We got nothing.
yeah.
So, that's that. And then those that should be running as Republican are running as Democrats.
Right.
But then they're probably rhinos to begin with.
Probably.
Okay. But anyway, we'll be doing
I don't get the party swap thing that
we'll be
everybody
doing
does.
the deed tomorrow. Well, they think if you do it, you're going to win because you're going to fool somebody. Then all of a sudden, somebody's going to realize you're white.
Well,
You're not fooling anybody.
The platforms between the Democratic and the Republican are just so different.
Yes, they are.
And in my opinion, have
and-
left
and-
the party itself has left the majority of my Democratic friends, people that I know that are Democrats in the city of Jackson.
And listen,
Every day on the street.
These state people. Did you? I want y'all to listen. She just said the most intelligent thing she ever said on this show. There's a difference between Republicans and Democrats, and
Mhm.
you may be saying you're a Republican, but you're voting Democrat.
Yep.
So,
And you may be a Democrat and your values actually are Republican.
but y'all come to Canton tomorrow. You'll see the fireworks. You'll see me question the school teacher who lost her license for cheating on scores.
Oh,
I'm
so
going
drama.
to, I'm going
Yep.
to ask her, how
Yep.
in the world do you think you can go to school, do
Hey,
this?
Chip, I'll bring all my stuff and we can I'll broadcast it live.
Yeah, we'll do that.
We'll do that so
We'll do
everybody
that.
can see it.
We'll do that.
We'll do it on Chip's and on mine.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
so today, I believe Chris Hinkle will be sitting in for Jameson Haygood's show.
Okay. I'm
And,
assuming Jameson's on spring break.
Jameson is
I don't
on
have
spring
kids,
break.
so all of a sudden it's like I walk out and I'm like, "Where's everybody? Where's the world?" I live in downtown and it's spring break.
Well, I always thought you walked in and asked like, "Where's the world? What's going on?"
I meant that there's nobody on the streets. There's no traffic, so I get out in the world straight
Okay.
out, and there's no traffic.
Why didn't you leave town for spring break?
Because
You don't go on spring break anymore?
I haven't been on a vacation, and I don't remember my last vacation.
I know I don't.
So
Yes, I do.
although my father's is a little bit like a
I
resort
think Clay and I
vacation,
went
but-
on a spring break back when we had the 105.
Oh, okay.
We went to Florida, and we went from Florida
Oh,
and wound
goodness.
up. We went to Florida to a Florida Ole Miss basketball game.
Mhm.
Wound up in New Orleans. I wound up.
You and
at-
Clay together? I don't
Yes.
even.
It gets
well,
it-
actually, as a bartender, I'd probably love to hear those stories.
No, this was,
Boy stories. Yeah, I get. I know a lot of boy stories.
it was a lot. It was another
a
lost.
lot of
week-
bouncers and
What is
and
it? It was a-
co-workers in the
It
bar.
was another lost weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
Ooh. That weekend lasted like 14 days.
Yep. Yep.
But anyway, there he is. The Chris Hinkle's walking in the studio. We'll be ready to go with that. Say goodbye, Taylor.
Goodbye, y'all. Have a good week, and we'll see you next week.
And remember, she's running for.
I'm running for Ward 7 City Council in Jackson as
And-
a Republican.
And I'm Chip Matthews, and I'm running for mayor. And the next time an election comes up, you need to run for office somewhere if you're listening.
Yep.
We'll
Follow
see
me
ya.
on Facebook. 2 T's and an E for tomorrow. Taylor Turcott.
Bye.